I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, I'm delighted to introduce you to a very talented writer. His name is Mitchell Alan Paddock. The author has bravely turned his personal battles into a beacon of hope with a book called The Promises. This memoir is not just a tale of struggle, it's a journey of transformation and redemption as Mitchell dives deep into his half-century-long fight with alcoholism and addiction, offering raw, unfiltered views of the havoc these can wreak on a life. However, the core of the book is about finding salvation in the most unexpected places. We're delighted to have this talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank our team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his wonderful book. The links are below this interview. Mitch, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Logan.
My pleasure. This was a brave thing to do, to get introspective, to tell your story, and in the hope of helping others. Tell me why you decided to put it all down on paper.
Because by writing it, it actually helped me to stay sober. And if it can help someone else as much or even more than it helped me, it served its purpose. I just feel that my calling has been to tell my story and to help others recover from addiction and alcoholism. And no case is hopeless because I thought mine was at one time, and found out that there is hope.
Yeah.
So,
Where did you find hope?
found it in AA,
Mhm.
the fellowship of AA. I kind of call it my heaven on earth because it has helped me greatly. People find different ways of getting sober and overcoming addiction, but for me, I needed AA and also God. Um, I hit rock bottom back in June 25th of 2018, got my second OWI, and uh, I hit rock bottom so hard that I had no choice but to look up. God was all I had left, and found the fellowship of AA.
How long have you been with AA, and what have they done to help you turn around your life?
5.5 years I've been with the fellowship of AA, and it has helped me to become a better version of myself on a daily basis, working the 12 steps, which I feel parallel the Bible.
Mhm.
And I've developed a connection with my higher power, which I call the Trinity, God, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit. And it's just helped me become a better person and change my life around. Best way I can put it, my sponsor once told me, he said, I got good and bad news. And I said, okay, what's the good news? He said, the good news is you only have to change one thing. And I said, cool, I can do that.
Mhm.
And he said, the bad news is that's everything.
Mhm.
So I had to change my whole life and had to substitute because, as you know, when we go out, usually, especially here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, we drink, a picnic, we drink, a party, we drink, um, socialization, dinner, we drink. So I had to change all that and substitute that with meetings at
Mhm.
AA. So,
Yeah, it's tough. I say that to people all the time, that every occasion is a reason to have a drink. You meet a friend
correct.
for lunch, let's get a drink. I'll meet you after work, let's get a drink. We're going to have dinner, a cocktail first, after dinner, and after dinner drink. It's and it's pushed on you. As soon as you
Mhm.
sit down at a restaurant, what are we going to have to drink? If you say
Correct.
I'm fine with water, the waitress
Hmm.
looks at you kind of funny because you're not ordering $10 bottles of beer, so it is pushed on you. Did you feel you had to hit rock bottom in order to get back to the top?
Um, I did, and I believe that I was one of the chosen because I had many friends of mine that had passed away from overdoses and things like that. And I've been struggling. I became a heroin addict at age 15
Mm.
and until I was 26 and dropped out of high school and everything and decided to get on what they call the methadone program. And as they say in AA, we try to find an easier, softer way, but it served its purpose at the time. Went back to college, uh, became a physical therapist, and
Mm.
30 years later, here I am. A beautiful life, especially the last 5.5 years. Uh,
Wonderful, wonderful. Why is the book called The Promises?
it's based on the 12 promises of AA and also God's promises. Like I truly believe there's a eternal bliss waiting for us on the other side. And also the 12 promises actually come true when you work the 12 steps. And it's like I've been on a pink cloud from the beginning until now. And it's been just beautiful. And losing all those character defects, not being self-centered, selfish, helping others. People there will give you the shirt off their back, and you don't have to buy them a drink to
Yeah,
do that. They
yeah,
just do it because,
exactly. You kind of have to change your priorities, from getting high, getting drunk, getting numb, to doing for others, living for others, building the best life you possibly can, right?
right. And then sharing with another alcoholic or an addict. Our stories are so much similar. Um, and you really learn from each other. And I'm constantly learning. And like I said in my book too, that, I've gained a lot of wisdom, but I have a lot more to gain. And constantly changing. That's the beauty of it. Just get better and better and trying to follow Christ's footsteps to be an honest, open minded person and a good person. And so, yeah, it's
Yeah.
been and just sharing with the other alcoholics, your story and what's going on. And we get in these little groups and we change as individuals, but as you know, society as a whole doesn't change.
Right.
And if you go out expecting society to change, it doesn't. But and that's why they say keep coming back and keep coming to meetings. Meetings are my basically you could call it my medication
Mhm.
to keep going. Um,
If somebody were to come to you right now and say to you, Mitch, my drinking's out of control. Uh, how can I stop? What would your best advice be?
well, I would suggest to them to we have a main office that people go to and get a when and where, find a meeting and go to a meeting. And like one of the old timers told me, he said, give AA a try. And if you don't like what we have to offer, we'll gladly refund your misery. And that really hit me big time because
Yeah,
it was miserable, the
yeah.
existence as an active alcoholic. So I would just suggest a meeting for them and see what they think.
Were you in denial during your addiction? Did you say, I really got this under control, I just enjoy it, and give yourself excuses like that?
Sure,
Yeah.
all the time. And I kind of call denial, the truth in disguise when you believe your own lies.
Mm.
And that's what it is. My sister said, you got a problem with alcoholism. And I said, no, I was a heroin addict. I'm, a narcotics addict, not an alcoholic.
Mm.
And I kept telling her that. And it turns out she was right. You have one addiction changes to another, just like legalization of marijuana, I don't think is a very good thing because it's kind of a gateway drug.
Yeah.
Um,
What do you think distinguishes a drinker from an alcoholic?
they have like about a questionnaire. that asks 36 questions. And if you answer like three of them right, chances are you're probably an alcoholic. Somebody that needs it constantly, um, changes their life for the worse. And somebody, they have to find out for themselves if they're
Yeah.
an alcoholic or not.
If it's having an impact on your family life, if it's an impact on your professional life, if you're drinking to excess and hiding it,
Right.
these are type of answers that people have. I think a lot of people out there today are alcoholics and don't realize it. I think we've been told red wine is good for you, and you see people pouring glass after glass after glass of red wine, beer. Like I said, there's always an excuse to drink. I stopped drinking myself about 4 or 5 years ago for health reasons. I thought it was healthier lifestyle. And now I'll have a non-alcoholic beer or a non-alcoholic glass of wine, pretty much just to fit in with everyone else who's got the booze in front of them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's funny
Yeah.
that we have to accommodate their drinking behavior now. They don't accommodate us by not drinking, right?
Yeah. And, just because I have a problem with it doesn't mean that I ought to expect others not to drink. And
Exactly.
and in the beginning I couldn't even go into a bar or a restaurant with a bar in it. But now that I've gotten quite a few years of sobriety under my belt, I go in, but I don't sit at the bar. I sit at a table and get something to eat. So I'm okay with that.
Right.
And I don't expect others to change. That's up
Right.
to them.
Yeah, if
And
you're on
you're
it.
right, bad for your health.
Yeah.
I think alcohol really tears your body up in so many ways, the liver, the mind, balance. I even treated one patient that was drinking a quart of booze a day, and he
Oof.
was 46 years old, and he couldn't even get out of the wheelchair because his cerebellum was so destroyed.
Yeah.
And I thought 46 and can't walk, that's terrible.
Yeah, yeah, it's a toxin. Basically, that elated feeling you get is yourself being poisoned by the wine. And then your liver has to clear out that poison until you get better. Um, and the after effects, of course, from hangovers and so forth are clear that you've been poisoned. So, if you're going to drink out there, do it judiciously, do it carefully. Don't do it to excess, that's for sure.
Right.
Mitch, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight and sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
Mitch
Um,
has written a wonderful book. It is called The Promises. It is the story of his life and how he turned it all around from a life of addiction to a life of hope, a life of service, a life of promises, promises kept. Thanks again for joining us. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time until next time on Spotlight.